Welcome to Alive on One, a miniature war games and hobby-centered podcast. I'm Nick Shaw, and with me today is Stephen Maddox.
Howdy.
Stephen Bork.
How's it going?
And our guest host for the evening, Brian Watson.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for being with us tonight, Brian.
You are very welcome.
And for the people that don't know you, I know you're a pretty big name here in the Northeast. Why don't you just give us a quick rundown of what you do for MCP up here?
Up here, I run a fair amount of events in the New England Northeast region of the United States. I try to help coordinate a lot of other quote unquote, kind of like smaller TOs into kind of getting people either acquainted with each other and traveling a bit more and trying to help the region as a whole kind of combine and being kind of like a larger meta, I suppose you could say, rather than these little isolated pockets. And I've also got to TO for a number of years, larger events like the Atlantic City Open for 3 years. The torch has been handed off to somebody else now. Adepticon the last 2 years and continuing forward for as long as I would like to. And hopefully some other stuff in the future. But I don't know exactly, but we'll see what happens. So lots of events. And it's something I really, really enjoy. I've been called the MCP dad of New England, and that's totally fine by me. So it's a good time. I really enjoy it. And I'm also the kind of like TO commissioner of the Big East Crisis Circuit Championship, whatever it has. I'm sure Steve's probably talked about it earlier on the earlier episodes. So I'm kind of the commissioner of the New England region. So if there's any sort of questions or anything like that, I handle those, and I'm also kind of the liaison amongst all of the other 3 different regions. So it's a good time. I really enjoy it.
I have a random question. Mm-hmm. What's the like overhead on going to Adepticon, and when's the dates on that usually for international listeners?
The overhead. So the like cost and things. I have
a hotel, stuff like that.
See, here's the crazy thing. I get comped, so I don't know. They just tell me. They're just like, you're in room such and such, and I'm like, great.
Okay.
But I do know the one thing that I will say is, and just so people can be aware, I think this is public knowledge. Yes. Okay. So Adepticon 2025 is going to be running March 26th through March 30th. So the last weekend of March 2025. It will be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as opposed to Chicago. It basically, they just kind of, Adepticon outgrew the Chicago venue. So they have to go to a kind of like a proper convention center. And Milwaukee's only like 90 minutes away. So it just kind of made sense on a logistics standpoint to make that easier. I will say, if you are interested in getting a hotel for Adepticon, I would either look for something around there now, or when the actual like hotel block does go up.
It's already gone up.
Yeah. Okay.
They earlier this week, I think it was last week, and they did a second round of it. Mm-hmm. But Steven, if you're wondering, I have a hotel booked. I'm not like fully committed to it yet, but it's like $150 a night for the hotel room block.
I am interested in going.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of standard things. It's not kind of like an outrageous.
Yeah.
I know that it does go quickly.
This year, though, it wasn't like 2 minutes, because like last year it was like 2 minutes. This year I and hauled on it over like an hour or so, and it was still in stock, because they have like 7 different hotels with room blocks, actually, because it's a big convention center that has like multiple hotels attached to it. So even if you want it now, I'm sure you could still find rooms. It's really, I'm appreciative they expanded. I know some people were kind of butthurt about it, but I was really excited for something bigger.
Mm.
So it should be a really good time. I mean, it'll be the second year of AMG's Timeline event, because this is like AMG's, like one of their big kind of like flagship events that they do. And I know some people were kind of like unsure about Timeline events because it's like, oh, I got to bring 3 rosters. They all can't compete with each other and so on and so forth. I will say, as one of the head judges for that weekend for MCP, there were 2 main things that I heard during the Timeline event. One was how many times people would say, I have never played this character before. I have no idea what they do, but I got to bring it. So, like, for me, that's a plus. And the other one is, this is way more fun than what I thought it would be. So, if it's something that, you know, logistically you could bring the 30 models and everything else, I would definitely give it a try, because it got a really, really good reception. And I know it was kind of like a little tentative on people's enthusiasm for it, but the people who went seemed to really enjoy it.
Cool. So recent characters alive on 1, or sorry, living with 1 HP. That's the positive spin. I know I'll kind of go first because so yesterday we should be doing a tournament recap soon, because apparently those episodes are super popular for us. So, but we had a kind of small local tournament up in Maine, and I played a player and essentially just left Luke Cage alive on 1, which ended up screwing me over in every subsequent turn. So I'm a little irritated, but there we go. Oh, I did it in our game too, Steven.
Yeah, I was going to say, in our game last round, you left the Howling Commandos alive on 1, and then I was able to activate and then just double tap into Magic and kill her before she activated.
Yep. That was a bummer.
And I got leadership off the board.
Yeah. To be fair, though, that we'll talk about this later, because today's episode is about New Mutants. But
you mean New Humans? Yeah,
sorry.
New humans.
But yeah, so make sure you protect Magic is a pro tip real early. So
yeah, definitely something to think about.
Yeah, my alive on 1 was I left Gwenum alive on 1 twice unintentionally, which resulted in the death of Sexy Strange, and then in the subsequent turn, she killed Luke Cage, which just wrecked my entire game plan. So that was fun. But,
yeah. Brian, anything of note?
I kind of do. We just wrapped up a league at my local store, and I played my last round. Trying out the New Mutants. It's one of the good things is that when you're, the TO and everything else, you don't have to ask if you can do stuff. You just do stuff. So it's just like, hey, I'm going to proxy some New Mutants. Are you cool with that? They're like, I guess so. Sure, that sounds fine. And Scarlet Spider went into Cable, left him alive on 1, and I was like, hooray. And then he's like, oh yeah, so he has this throw that he's going to do, and he's going to throw him into Magic. And then ended up dazing Cable and KOing Magic in that one. So, like, I had it alive on 1 for about 5 seconds. And it was a really good feeling. And then it all went down the toilet.
Then it was alive on dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dead on 0.
Not living with 0 HP. Cool.
What about comics? I know I've been pretty busy, so I haven't read a whole lot. Anybody been reading anything?
I actually have one this time, because the reason why I'm recording late is that my dryer is fully dead now. And so I had a bunch of wet clothes that I had to take to a laundromat to dry them. And so while I was sitting there waiting, I ended up just downloading the first issue of the Avengers vs. Aliens series coming out. And dude, that is really good. I really enjoyed myself with that one, actually, I have to say.
Speaking of that one, I have it sitting in my backlog. I need to get to it.
Yeah,
and
you should
also,
read it.
Why is your dryer dead? You didn't ask me to play a game today.
You're right. Usually that's when my health breaks. I don't know. It's been kind of airing a lot recently, and it just finally kind of doesn't work at all anymore.
I sadly don't have anything. I Daredevil is a big fan of mine, or I'm a big fan of his. And I'm kind of like 3 years behind, so I need to kind of like. There's a part where like Kingpin sails off into the ocean, disappears with some magic book, and then Mac gets all like super priesty, and it's like one of those parts where they change over writers.
Mm.
So it's like more stuff kind of like changes than you're initially like anticipating. So I haven't dived into that yet. But I left off when like, spoilers from a lot of times. Which were like
a 3-year-old comic.
Yeah, we're like Daredevil's in like he's fighting demons in hell in like an all white suit, and like he takes his horns and he pulls like lightsabers out. It's just all
Star Wars crossover.
It got all weird, but it was actually. I mean, up until that point where he dove into hell, I was kind of like, all right, this is good, but then it just got bizarre, very very bizarre.
And then, anybody done any hobbies? I know I've personally been working on Shang-Chi finally, so he's getting some paint on him. So what's everybody else been up to?
I know what I have to paint. So in a couple of weeks, or a week and a half, I'm going out to film with Jin at RSMP. And I'm going to run New Mutants. And I think right now, maybe 2 are painted. So I've got about 8 models to do. So plus Emma counts as she comes with 2, so 9 models. That'll be fun.
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
Yeah, I might ask to borrow some, to be fair.
I don't have many of the mutant models though. So
no, I'm thinking like Jin probably does.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, that's it for me. Brian, how about you?
I have assembled all of the new releases that came out a couple days ago, and I got it's not an MCP game, but I'm looking over at the box. It's like this 6mm game, and I'm gluing tiny little infantry.
Oh my god!
5 apiece on a base that's about the size of a nickel.
Do you love torture? That sounds terrible.
I mean, they're kind of adorable in a really weird way.
Is it tiny Space Marines? Because I've built some of those tiny Legion Imperialis Marines.
It is Legion Imperialis, but I'm doing the Solar Auxilia.
Okay, yep.
Whatever they're called.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm going to be concerned, they're going to be Chaos Renegades, and
nice.
I'm going to paint them all up, all nerdly and disgustingly, and yeah. So, but that and putting some MCP stuff. Unfortunately, fortunately, I've recently moved, so like all my stuff is all over the place, and I haven't gotten to a point where I'm like settled in where I'm like can really kind of hobby outside of just the bare necessities.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that happens.
I'm gonna say I did a hobby thing. It's not really super hobby, but I posted about we got a Galactus Zombicide giant thing that I want to use as a traveling trophy that I stole the idea from Brian and his rock.
Nice.
And so the morning of the tournament, I'm like, man, this is kind of boring. And so I had the idea and I bought a can of gold spray paint, the $25 GW Retributor Armor spray paint, and I sprayed them gold. So it was a little bit more exciting rather than just basic. But then didn't like fully cover them and just kind of have some of like the purple still popping through. It looked really cool.
Nice.
And so I enjoyed it a little bit. It makes it a little bit more fun and exciting.
Yeah. In that context, too, I show up to this tournament and there's a bunch of fire trucks outside. And I'm like, what the fuck did Steven do?
Not related.
Yeah. He primed him with a blowtorch and set the building on fire. Okay. And then Steven, well, I guess I can handle some of this since you do it every episode. So just some quick reminders. We're going to have an Alive on 1 TTS tournament, which will be every 2 weeks starting September 29th. I think I might actually try to play in that. My brain will blow up, but here we are. So after that, shortly in-person tournament in Maine, Standoff. It's in Portland or close by to Portland on November 16th and 17th. Steven is TOing that one. I'm definitely playing in that one. And again, if anyone has any questions, just email us or email Steven. I think they could just email Live on One though if they wanted to.
Yeah, they could do that. There's a Facebook page for it too. I messaged the hotel directly for the room block, and so we're waiting for that. I'm hoping Monday, the next workday, we'll actually get an answer back for that because it's a 2-day event. And so I know some people are waiting on room block with the price of XYZ. So I'm just waiting on them to get back to us with it. So hopefully soon.
Yeah. And then after that is Brian's event, Everwinter.
January 3rd, 4th, and 5th in downtown Boston. We're capping at 48 players. We're currently at 28 right now, but considering it's like 4 months away, that's really good. We got a lot of interest. Hopefully, as it kind of gets closer, we will be helping fill it out. We're actually getting it's kind of getting interesting. It's a little bit weird. We're getting like people from outside just New England. Like we have players from Canada. That's not just Montreal. Our lovely Shark Tank to the north. But like other parts of Ontario are coming. We've got people from California are coming. All sorts of stuff. So it's kind of interesting. And it's got Everwinter has a fun little new logo now with an adorable little Yeti. So it's really great. So if you go to wickeddicey.com and you can click on the events down for Everwinter, you can buy tickets straight to that. Or if you want to kind of like hold your spot now, but you're not really figuring out the logistics and everything, I could probably send you guys the Longshanks for it. If you want to kind of hold a spot for now and decide on later, I could either send it to these guys for the show notes. I'm sure that they probably already have it as well because I think a number of you guys are already signed up for it. Also,
I think all of us are.
3-day event, and I think it's gonna be really, really, really good, really fun.
Fun side note that's actually official now is that the Wicked Dicey guys actually gave me prize support, where if you come to Standoff, you can actually win a ticket to Everwinter.
Right.
Really?
Even better.
Even for
go to both.
Yeah, go to both.
Yeah, why
not? Cool. So now that we've spent about 20 minutes of everyone listening's time, we'll dive into the faction that we are covering today, which is the New Mutants. And if you haven't heard already from myself, I'm a pretty big fan of them. They're probably my favorite. So even before the rules came out, personally, I was really excited about this. I had no idea what they were going to do, but I love Magic. So not Magic the Gathering, Magic the character, in case you were confused. But and in fact, fun fact here, Nick bought me a really sexually explicit comic of Magic and gave it to me as a gift yesterday, so that was fun.
It wasn't explicit, but
yeah, you're making that sound a lot worse than what it is.
I mean, I had to take a small bathroom break.
It was just an uncanny X-Men alternate cover with magic.
Explicit.
Oh, okay.
If it makes your heart race, it's explicit.
Okay.
Anyways, so I said we're going to get into the New Mutants, but we should bring up, since we've had a series, this is related to the New Mutants, a series of we just had Webs on. We'll be talking about Apocalypse kind of soonish when he's released and we get some more reps in him. And Brian will be on next month to talk about this theme. But these are some of the factions that you come into the game and you kind of just want to kill things. With these particular factions, we start running into that game plan doesn't work as well all the time. So you have a lot of technical movement, a lot of mission playing. I mean, New Mutants are a little bit more on the attrition side of this than like Webs. But that being said, we're starting to kind of cover some of these factions where these themes of advancing your game or playing the game a bit differently are starting to occur. So I think we'll touch on some of those themes here, but we did switch our game plan because we're all excited about the New Mutants to cover this. And then next month we'll have Brian back to talk about how you can start to change and shift your game. But we'll definitely touch on some of that stuff here. So,
and you should give yourself props a little bit because you brought them to a tournament the day after they released. So theoretically, you're ranked number 2 on Longshanks right now because you're probably the only person to play them.
I think actually someone dropped me last night down to 3, but yeah, brush your shoulders off. But I do plan on, as I said, they're my favorite comic, and I haven't had access to rules yet. And then the rules kind of, in 40K, competitive 40K, I was playing Thousand Sons and Genestealer Cult like a ton. And they feel a lot like that on the table for MCP. That kind of really technical, your brain's almost going to explode as you're using them, just because of all the options. But so I am really excited, and I was talking to Steven and Nick at dinner last night, and I was like, I'm definitely committing to this faction for the foreseeable future. So, yeah, so that's always cool.
It is cool because it means I don't have to deal with Dormammu for a while.
Well, he'll be in there sometimes, He'll make appearances.
It'll just be 9 New Mutants in a Dormammu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It'll just be New Mutants / Dormammu.
Oh, jeez.
But, so anyways, if you don't know who the New Mutants are, I think a long time ago, I was reading some history about them briefly last night, and I think a long time ago they decided they needed younger. They probably was a marketing meeting, and they were like, we need to reach a younger audience, and with X-Men. And there was actually some initial resistance to releasing this for some of the X-Men writers, but I guess they decided they wanted a younger team, and so they were released in the 80s, I believe. So they've been around for a while, but Marvel kind of made the executive decision to release New Mutants, and we got, I don't think Magic was even in the original lineup, but we had people like Wolfsbane, Sunspot, Cannonball. I can't remember who else, but those are 3 major ones. So, but as time went on, they developed, and they have a ton of comics. So if you have that app, the Marvel app, I'm blanking on the name, you can access a lot of it. Yeah, unlimited. Yeah. There's a ton on there from all different kinds of runs, different authors and whatnot. And so we come today, and Magic kind of ended up taking a pretty prominent role within the New Mutants sort of leadership. So anyways, that's kind of a brief overview of who they are, unless someone else, I know I just did a lot of talking, so if someone wants to add to that.
No, I think you hit on the head. There was just like the original X-Men kind of aged up a little bit, and it was back in the 80s and 90s where it's like selling to young kids was still how you sold a lot of comics. So you want to keep your audience like interested in younger kind of protagonists. So I think you hit on the head right there.
Yep. And now they're old, but they're always portrayed as being young. So I think Magic grows up a bit and then, whatever, but without kind of getting too into the nitty gritty of the comics, that's who they are. So who are they in MCP? Well, we have a grand total of 7 affiliated characters, with the thought that they're planning on releasing more. I think someone even mentioned like maybe they were planning an affiliation box around this time and it got pushed back or something, with like Wolfsbane and whatnot. But we have Cable, Emma, Magic, Shadowcat, Sunspot, and Warlock, who just released. Well, for us, that would have been 2 or 3 days ago. Mm-hmm. And then X-23, who I just realized was affiliated, and I am not really liking Warlock. So I already have a thought of adding her to a list, but yeah, so that's who they are. That's what characters you can play. Now, what do they do? So as a brief summary, sorry, I'm like trying to think. My brain is blowing up in general, and then also like they're a new affiliation, right? So we haven't really seen them played, in any kind of meta form. We don't really know how they're going to shake out in terms of characters, in terms of missions. Even, I mean, I have a slight idea based on I played 6 games now with them. That's not a lot, to be honest, for this kind of faction. So we'll see. But anyways, their leadership, which comes in the Sunspot box. So if you buy that, you get their leadership card plus all the other 3 tactics cards. So it goes on Ileana or Magic. And of note here, too, and Brian, if you have insider knowledge, just withhold this, but it's it's phrased as Ileana Rasputin in the Team Tactics card, making me think they might be coming out with like a threat level 4 version of her or something, which is really kind of exciting. I don't know that at all. So this is just...
It's future-proofed, right? So they can have it come out in the future if they need it.
Right, which I love because we need more Magic. I have like 4 versions of her already, but so the leadership itself, rules wise, is if an allied character is targeted by an enemy attack, after the attack is resolved, a different allied character within 3 of the targeted character may spend a power to use the leadership. You place the one that wasn't targeted within one of the one that was. So it's kind of hopping. That was probably too complicated. Anyone have a easier way to describe that?
No, I think you know, Ed. Yeah, someone gets attacked, somebody else near them can spend a power to teleport towards them.
Yep, within one.
Yeah, within one of the character that was attacked. So it gives you a lot of movement tech. Brian, how do you think that plays out then? Like, what do you envision them doing?
So I did have my one game with New Mutants. The thing that I find is most useful for is protecting secures and making sure that models that are getting displaced or that are getting damaged, somebody else can show up to help secure that point, or you're getting characters with like taunt effects like Luke Cage and Black Dwarf and other stuff like that with a giant base, so that, you know, the first attack might go through, but then any subsequent attack, you now have this big giant protector that's helping them out. And so yeah, I think it's going to be very, very tricky. It is definitely seems to be like a high skill ceiling kind of faction.
Yeah, I agree.
They definitely want to play in a bit more of a brawly kind of setup, because if you're playing on like a low threat level on like a D, you almost kind of don't have a leadership because you're spread out all over the place, and then having people within 3 is going to be a little bit rough. That was the exact situation that I was placed in. That's the reason why it planted in my brain. But I do agree with Steven where when I was playing it, I was like, this kind of feels like I'm playing Guardians of the Galaxy, but without rerolls. But the leadership did actually help me score out a victory point, which was good. And if that's something that you can do consistently, I think that's kind of where they want to be.
Yeah. Steve and I played our last round of the tournament against each other, and we rolled, it was a Demon Downtown and Scrolls, and so it was an E-map secure, and I agree with you. I think that leadership is really good for playing the secure, because I did my standard thing with Dynamo. I move them up behind commandos, and I walk on the middle point to be a big body there at the end, and I beam. But then Steven could then teleport 2 bodies onto it, and so you can at the very end kind of just outtake that secure from your opponent.
Yeah.
And if you're not played against them, you're not going to really catch that. You're like, ooh, that's actually really frustrating. Or what else Steven could start doing is you can start teleporting them like back and forth from your home E to the middle E. And so I agree, like the secure play there I think is very strong. And we were even thinking like, I would have to look at the ranges, but like Scoundrels on an F map, I think maybe would be as a benefit there as well. That kind of diamond there. But I think you're right. Like
there's a good concept here too. So if you are playing like a D, so in 40K, you'd have 5 objectives, right? And you make like a triangle of like secure, I guess those would be the secure possession, right? So as long as you're positioning your characters within this triangle and teleporting back and forth, I mean, you have to be really careful with your positioning, but Scoundrels is like that, right? You pick your 2 homes and you have to just accept. I was thinking about this last night. I was like, I have to accept that my opponent's going to score and not try as much denial, but just try to float around that kind of positional triangle where I'm double tapping secures, where I'm then bodyguarding people that are weaker. So I think it's, I don't know, that concept kind of applies to this faction. I was tying that together on my ride home from the tournament last night.
Yeah. And double tapping, I think, is a really big deal there, where it's like you can teleport somebody forward to then actually double tap into somebody, and you don't have to worry about moving it forward as much. And as where Brian mentioned Red Dwarf, I think it's a really good piece. Or Black Dwarf?
Black Dwarf.
Red Dwarf, yes. New humans with Red Dwarf.
Yeah. Where that guy's always been super slow, right? And he's always been really challenging to get up into the fight and do stuff with. But now you can range 3 teleport him forward. Like, ooh, that is going to be saucy. I think he has some play there.
That giant base, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's got damage reduction. He's got a bunch of health. He's in your face. He's annoying. He doesn't have to walk forward anymore. So I think he's a huge play with him and just stuff like that. And something for you guys, anybody to think about. We were talking briefly about, do you want to go wide or tall with them? And we all kind of came to the idea of probably wide. I don't think you want to go super tall just to feel like you don't get as much with the faction. Yeah. And it's also really hard.
Wide with like 4s, maybe a 5 in there. I think they need a little bit of that kind of 4 tech versus the 3. You know, the 3s are pretty weak. I mean, some fit, obviously. Like we have X-23 and Shadowcat in affiliation, and Warlock in affiliation. Well, Magic too, sorry. But, you know, like Splash, in terms of splashes, like Bill works really well, I think, with them. Because he comes in, and again, it's that movement thing, like Black Dwarf, where it's like you have typically a slow character who can come in turn 1, 2, and start doing their things. Bill's at 4 power typically on that turn as well, so he gets 1 spender and then or a throw or whatever. So, but yeah, we should go over. Brian, why don't you lead us through their amazing tactics cards too?
Oh, they're my favorite part of this affiliation right now. Hold on one second. Let me bring on. Okay, so we already went over the leadership.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go in from most exciting to least exciting, or least exciting first. So least exciting to me is Tomorrow Soldiers. Basically, when a allied New Mutants character is dazed or KO'd, all other New Mutants characters, or another New Mutants character can play the card, and then all non-dazed allied New Mutants gain 2 power. So it's kind of good because you got a lot of squishy characters. They're gonna get dazed and KO'd. You can play this at the right time, and then they can kind of power up. There's no range requirement. They just can't be dazed. The only problem with this is that any of your splash characters don't benefit from it. Mm-hmm. So kind of got to be a little bit mindful as kind of your roster selection, but it's one of those cards that I can see people taking in their 10s and then looking at their 5s and just kind of like, I don't know if I could really fit this in. But I think it could be handy for something that I'll bring up in a little bit as far as crisis stuff that I like for them. The next tactic card in kind of like the
Brian, still on Tomorrow Soldiers. I actually found that to be incredibly useful yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's definitely like you're absolutely right. It's on that point where you're like, especially with we should include in this quote unquote New Mutants cards Journey Through Limbo, because that does end up, you know, making you think about if you're going to bring that, because Journey Through Limbo is just so amazing with Magic.
Yeah,
that it's almost affiliated. If you take Magic, you take that card. But it did come up a couple times for me.
Nice.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's great to hear. So,
yeah.
Next one is Survive the Night. So, after an attack targeting an allied New Mutants character is resolved, the targeted character can play the card, costs them nothing, and you choose another allied character within 2 of the targeted character. The chosen character immediately makes the attack above targeting the enemy character. And the attack is a physical attack called Back Off. It is range 3, 5 dice, no power. But on the wonderful part is after the attack is resolved, push the character away short. So there's no size restriction whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And being that this is triggered after an attack targeting a New Mutants character is resolved, you can effectively trigger the leadership for a cry for help to bring somebody within 2, and then you can survive the night.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're both resolving at the same time, so you get to... Actually, no, that would be on the opponent's turn. So it might not work out that way. But because they would choose in the order in which it would happen, because it would both be after the attack was resolved. No,
it would be simultaneous.
Yeah.
So you would choose the order.
Would choose.
Yeah.
So
fun fact about New Mutants: they make your brain break looking up rules.
Exactly. Very, like I was saying, very high skill ceiling.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So like you could have someone sitting on a point thinking that they're safe, and you hop someone over, survive the night, push them off, and it could be
just the synergy of that is really good with the leadership, because you're right. You can really decide where you're going to push because you can place around them.
Yep. I think I did that to you, Steven, in our game.
Yeah, I think you did too early, to tell you the truth, because you pushed round 1 against my Dynamo, and I had my leadership up just to aggressive back. I think it's definitely something you probably want to hang on to until like later in the game to try to do like a 50-point swing.
Okay, makes sense.
And lastly, my favorite of the tactics cards is Practice Round. So when an allied character rolls dice, if the effect contains no crit results, that character can play this card. They can re-roll any number of its dice, including failure results. So, a couple notes with this is it states rolls dice, not during the modified dice step. So if you are rolling attack dice, you don't gain crits. You can now re-roll to try to get more crits. And because it's before the timing sequence of exploding crits, you have a second chance to kind of get crits explode.
Oh,
that's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wish this is not a video podcast, because my face was just like, oh my God, that's right.
And the other thing here is it's when an allied character rolls dice. So it doesn't say what for. It doesn't dictate an attack or defense. So if there's a crucial pay to flip that you need to have over, if you want to be really silly and meme the heck out of it, throw in Squirrel Girl with Inexplicable Demise. And if you don't get any crits, you can pick exactly which ones you need to re-roll to try to, one-shot KO.
I want to do that now. That sounds like fun.
Oh, shit. I just noticed, too, it says re-roll any number of dice.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not.
Yeah, it just gets better and better the more you read it.
So,
well, I wasn't playing that correctly.
Yeah, so Squirrel Girl New Mutant.
Yeah, that's the T right there.
Yeah, so that's the little subtleties in Practice Round. It's not just, I get a reroll once per game. There's a lot of little layers to it that's really, really fun. So
absolutely. That's like super cool that you just pointed all that out too.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't have caught you could still get crits to go off. That is really cool, I gotta say, yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's rolling. I don't want to get this is how judge nerdy I get.
Mm-hmm.
I think rolling attack dice is like step 14. No, it's not that high. It's like step 6. Rolling defense dice is like step 7, and then step 8 is like resolving crits. So it happens before then. So
yeah,
and I thought it was kind of nice that they even said if the result contains no crit results, then you could do it. So it's almost kind of like a nice little nudge, like, hey, do it then. Get a second shot. So
I guess with Malekith, Domino, and then Red Skull 3, you could then have the decision of hey, do I want to turn this skull to a crit, or I just want to reroll everything? Because you said it lets you reroll your skulls too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because it's before that leadership takes off.
Yeah, and it's definitely one of those things that if you're playing it, it's yet another reinforcement of going through the timing steps properly.
Yep.
Because if you're the defender, you don't want to give your opponent perfect information. So let them figure out. I mean, obviously they're going to want to do all their attack stuff as possible, but if they're rolling their dice and they get 3 or 4 successes and they need to daze or KO someone who's ironically alive on 1, you don't, as the defender, don't roll your defense dice yet. Don't let them know, he blanked out his defense roll. I don't need to use this. So make them commit to it if they think it's important enough before you roll in your defense dice. It's like the same thing like Domino and Malekith and all that sort of stuff. I know it just happens where it's just everyone just rolls their dice together and then they just kind of talk about what their results were. But you can get a little bit cool when you're playing and you're making sure you're not helping out your opponent if you don't necessarily have to be that guy or gal, but you can if you want to, and you're totally within your right the rules to do so.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, the more I play New Mutants, the more people are going to get annoyed by me.
or they're going to sit there and they're going to go, "Are you going to practice around it? Are you going to practice around it?" And then if it's on the defensive side, if you're on a chess clock, then they're going to swap it over to you.
As you choose, yeah. So, also of note, all those tactics cards, and I think this is because you have to bring your leadership. We had a local player talking about why they would make you use your tactics card for leadership for New Mutants, and all the other tactics cards that are affiliated are free. So you don't have to spend any power to use any of them.
That's really good. I didn't realize that.
The only one that doesn't cost a tactics card spot, is the bar with no doors.
No doors.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
And that might just be from age. Like, that was like one of the first tactics cards leaderships, right? So that might just be like, maybe we don't want to do this, because they haven't done that since.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think a lot of it is, though, it took like 2 paragraphs to put in there, but also they're talking about the fact that you can pick somebody to be a leadership. It's not just stuck onto a character. So
that's true as well.
I don't know. I wonder if they took that out just because it was just getting very wordy. So if they want very detailed leaderships, they're kind of restricted because there's only so much space on the card.
Yeah.
So
I saw an alternate art of that card. Sorry, this is a tangent. Of Bar with No Door, and it's the stupidest alternate art ever because you can't even really see the art because it's just giant box of text on both sides. You're like, cool, look at that.
Hooray.
Cool. So those are the tactics cards, and we're kind of jumping around, but I like it, so it's not a big deal.
We're being like Inhumans. We're jumping around all over.
Oh, right.
It's on brand.
We're embodying the leadership. So
I also appreciate, Brian, that you said New Humans right there.
Absolutely.
We're making it stick.
God damn it.
When we finally do merch, we're going to have a New Human shirt. We're going to have a Zemu shirt.
So we'll walk into now kind of the overall play style of, we'll talk a little bit about the overall play style in terms of, the limited experience we have with them and kind of the rules writing. But I do think, Brian, you touched on this. You want bodyguards seem super useful in their particular matchup. My original list too, I haven't talked about this, but a couple of weeks ago, it feels like a long time ago, but it's probably only 2 weeks ago. I had Namor in there and I had Zemu in there for the rerolls. So I think bodyguard's better, but my initial thought was, bring them over. Get the rerolls. Also, Namor's card, where he can teleport himself, and then you can ping that to teleport other New Mutants. But it has to be targeted by attack, so never mind. Oh no, but he becomes the target.
Yeah,
and
so
then,
teleport.
Yep. Okay. I was like, Steven, was that idea really stupid? So, that's me talking to myself, not you, Steven. But anyway, so play style, at least from what I saw yesterday, personally, it's like this weird triangle, of like this range 3 triangle where you're pinging back and forth between secures. And you literally, I think at one point, for example, on this is I had a person up in the middle. We were playing on EMAP, so I was on the bottom 2, so the middle one and my own secure. And Kitty was on the middle, exposed, and I think you did a beam or something. And so I brought her back and then brought someone else up to kind of switch their positioning. So Kitty was more protected, stealth and whatnot. So you can do a lot of cool things within that kind of range 3 triangle. It's not a triangle, but it's like this range 3 bubble or zone, if you will. So, Brian, what about yourself and your own experience and just reading the rules?
I'm curious real quick, Brian, what did you play list-wise?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I brought a quote-unquote wider list. Actually, no, I didn't the first time. So my 16 that I had was Cable, Sunspot, Magic, and Agent Venom. And so I was playing against Web Warriors, so I kind of threw Agent Venom in there. Cable, I don't know. I just put in because I just wanted to put him in.
He's affiliated.
Yeah, he's affiliated. So, and Sunspot, because I knew that I only wanted to use either Sunspot or Warlock. I didn't want to have to try to learn two new characters at the same time. That is also the game that I learned that Sunspot is on a medium base, not on a small. Yeah, so it was like I kind of alluded to earlier. It was a little bit of a rough one because the D maps where you have to spread out everywhere, you're just like I think I had one leadership trigger the entire game. I mean, granted, the game only lasted 3 turns because I got absolutely destroyed. But I mean, it's just when Scarlet Spider is impact webbing into Agent Venom, and between the 2 impact webbings, he got all 8 conversions on his hits, and I got 1 block out of my 8. That was just kind of the tempo of what was going on. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, very, very. I think they're very attrition focused with some secure tricks. I have some idea of some splash characters, and still kind of keeping with that wider theme. So that way you have more opportunities to have people that are able to jump over. So you don't need to necessarily completely condense on one part of the board, and you can kind of spread out a little bit, and you have some more options.
You're bringing up points here where it's like, this is me thinking as we've talked, would you consider them maybe like more of a dual affiliation? So like if you get stuck on a D map or a wide map and you're like, oof, I don't really want to bring that because my leadership is not that great. Or do you think their tactics cards are good enough to still warrant bringing them, if that makes sense?
I could consider them being kind of a dual affiliation kind of thing. I don't know. I think it would really be crisis dependent. I mean, you could probably, because like,
I don't know if they need it, to be honest. I think you just make 2 smaller bubbles to teleport around.
That's fair.
So, yeah, and one of the splash characters that I was considering that I think is a good option is Honey Badger. So if you are on a D, you could just Jonathan your back point, and then you can just
I didn't think about that.
run 2 little pods. And I think Honey Badger and X-23 and New Mutants are going to be absolutely hilarious together. Just like running around, jumping over each other. You know, a Honey Badger making sure that she gets the lower defense dice. And there's an odd amount of Incinerate in this affiliation. In just little like random spots for only 7 characters deep. So between that and Honey Badger and she having her own little taunt, and then the big sis, little sis things, like they could just be doing so many shenanigans stuff.
That's a good idea.
I just had to switch my list, Brian. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. I have some other unaffiliated splash ideas as well.
Yeah, throw them out.
Some of the other ones I got a little bit saddened because I got rules lawyered at. I think I have the excitement in my head of Jenk, and then I got brought down to reality.
That does that.
I know. But Gwenum, I think, is particularly fun, especially with the cry for help, and then her. I think it's called like pick on somebody your own size, where she gets to attack somebody that was within 2 of her. So there could be enemy characters who are they're both low. They're like, oh, if I could just get this one person. And then even if they dazed them, you could still hop to them. You could still hop to the dazed character. And then you could attack the attacker and then potentially take them down as well. And then while still putting yourself on the point that they were trying to take over. I think Shuri is a really good option.
I've looked at her a couple times for this.
Purely just for the spaced out rerolls. Because they're an attacking, like I said before, it's like playing Guardians of the Galaxy with no rerolls. It just feels kind of weird. one of the other characters that I really like is Deadpool, because where you're hopping onto secures, on his injured side, he always counts as being healthy. And the fact that you can place, if you can potentially put him in a spot where he can go grab a secure where your opponent thought he was safe, especially towards the later end of the game. Still, even if he hasn't acted, he could still, sneakily steal you a secure.
Yeah, no, that's a really good idea.
What were the other ones? Who were the couple other ones that I had?
I can throw one back at you.
Sure.
We were talking last night at dinner. We were thinking about Shocker, because the same idea with Honey Badger.
Yeah. Nope.
Where he has that ability, so you can throw Shocker up there so they roll less attack dice at you.
Yeah. The trick with a lot of this stuff is that the initial target has to either A, survive for a second attack, and B, be there that a second attack is going to want to happen.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think if you have a lot of these characters, your opponents are going to figure out really quickly to not double tap. But then again, the rapid fire Shadowlands Daredevil teams have been falling to the wayside. But if that rapid fire is going to be a nightmare, where you have to go into them again, and then all of these triggers can start going, it's just going to be like, I just want to do my thing, and then the mutants won't let you. So,
yeah. I think I just changed my list. So my current splashes are Bill, Black Dwarf, Honey Badger, and Luke. In my current list, I literally just switched from Shocker to Honey. After you started talking about the Honey Badger stuff, I was like, oh, I gotta change my list. Because I agree, her and Laura are just gonna run down the field hammering off of each other. It's kind of a cool concept there. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The other, I brought up my roster that I was going to bring yesterday, but I didn't. So the other two that I had that haven't been talked about are Black Cat and Spectacular Spider-Man. Specifically, that they're both 3, so they're pretty cheap.
Yeah.
And I now have a Cat and the Spider play that you could do turn 1 if you have an odd amount of extracts that you can kind of exploit.
Man, I can also just imagine if if you're attacking a new mutant player, you're holding an asset, and then Black Cat gets a teleport closer to that person, and then has a steal option available to then either, if it's a super good, you can grapple hook, double steal, and then long move away. Ooh, that's really good.
Yeah. So, and also, where new mutants are wanting to kind of play more of the secure game, Spectacular Spider-Man's got a throw.
Yep.
He's incredibly mobile. He could still bring a fair amount of value as well. So I think they could also be some interesting splashes that people be like, "What the heck are you doing with that?" And they'd be like, "Well, I'm gonna show you."
Yeah, I'll show you. You humans.
Yeah,
I know when I looked at their leadership, my first thought was Black Bolt, because he has the cheap bodyguard, so he could potentially pop up turn 1 and then bodyguard turn 1 because he gets 2 power a turn. I think Bork was experimenting with that. I don't know how it went, though.
The problem is he's a 5 and he's not Cable. That's really the issue. Well, he's unaffiliated, so I remember I played a variety of different threat levels yesterday, one being a 20. And on the 20, I was like, well, I'm going to bring my 5. But I didn't have enough affiliated characters to run. I couldn't go wide, so I had to bring Black Bolt. And he wasn't affiliated, so my lower level threat character. This is a list design issue, on my end. But I did notice that if you bring Black Bolt, it can sometimes eat into your 20s or your 19s. And that was my primary reason for dropping him for Cable. Also, we were talking about this yesterday as well. Cable is really strong with them with his body slide.
Yeah.
And the fact that he can sit back when your other part of your team wants to push up. And do their kind of weird jank moving around, hitting you, bodyguarding sort of bubble thing. It's really useful to have a tough character always putting damage in on your back point. And that's not something Black Bolt does. He also wants to go up. He's got a range 4, but it just feels kind of bad having him sit in the back sometimes,
Yeah.
especially with the bodyguard. So you're like moving him up to bodyguard. So now he's in the middle and he's kind of exposed, and he can't just sit back. But yeah, that was at least my own thoughts surrounding it after using him.
Cable seems more versatile too, just because he's also, does he get the incinerate when he's within range 3?
Yeah.
But he also likes being close.
I think he gets the rerolls within range 3. And I think Incinerate's just a wild trigger.
Yep.
So he's pretty useful whether he sits in the back point or you bring him up.
Yeah. Plus he gives rerolls, or extra defense dice, to your team, and they desperately need that, especially Magic. So
yeah. And you get that through Cable and Shadowcat. They both kind of do the same thing.
They kind of stack together. Yeah.
That's something to bring up as well, is I think the weakness of them, I feel like, is how squishy Magic is. Because you can't really overextend her. Like our game where you're like, I'm going to go grab her scroll, and then I fail the scroll, and then I get pushed forward, and I'm like, I'm just going to kill her. Round 2.
Yeah. Knowing I could have re-rolled that now, though, makes that play a bit different.
Oh, yeah, you can re-roll the scroll, so I got to play different, right? So, but I definitely think it's something to think about. You can't just, like, throw her out there and let her do, like, limbo step on things, try to excel. You have to really, be careful with it, because I feel like you're wanting to use that leadership often, so you want to keep her alive.
Yeah, especially, this is all, we'll come to missions now, too, I think, because it's a good place to bring it up. If you're on a mission, well, we kind of already talked about it a little bit, but if you're on a mission where you're more spread out, she becomes like more exposed, because little or 3 threats can ace her pretty much. So you have to be really careful with how you use Magic, and when you use her. To be honest, like I've been thinking a lot about she's a turn 2-3. If you're bringing Limbo Step and you want to get rid of something big, turn 2-3 is when you maybe expose her on her healthy side, and then you kind of run away. After that, maybe grab an extract. But you really have to make sure that she's protected. And I think Cable, on a higher threat level, is really Cable and Kitty. Then kind of you can form a bubble with Cable, Kitty, and Magic in your kind of back end, and just protect the midpoints. In Scoundrels, you'd be on the 2 sides, and you kind of just shift back and forth and give give extra defense dice. So, but yeah, so missions. So Brian, I'll tell you what I have in my list, and then you can tell me that it's dumb or I'm on to something.
Tell you it's dumb. Absolutely not.
So this has changed a lot over the past 2 days. After they're a faction that needs a lot of reps, as we've mentioned many times. And I think when you first start out, you have these ideas, and you're like, "Oh, that's not working," so you have to drop and shift. So I have for extracts Spider Infected, Scrolls, and Extremis or Senators. And then for Secures, more importantly, I have Scoundrels, Gamma, and Intrusions now.
The only one that we have different, I don't have Intrusions. I have the Deadly Meteors Mutate Civilians, because it's kind of close up. It's a little bit off center. But with a pay to flip, one of the wonderful things is with the leadership, you can be stacking people onto pay to flip points that your opponent now has to more deal with.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people like to, push people off and do all this sort of stuff so they can get them really easy. And you can just help stacking people on.
Oh, right. Those. That's a really good point. Damn it. Change again.
Also, and unless you're bringing Honey Badger with Jonathan, like, I really don't like Demons Downtown with this group.
Yeah, no way.
Like, it just seems really, really sad.
Yeah, them all having Incinerate is not a good look.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to give it out. You don't want to be taking it.
Yeah.
I think the only difference is really mainly our extracts. So I took Research Station, Montesi Formula, and Paranoia. Just Paranoia primarily because you're going to want to be grouped up anyways, just through the nature of the leadership, so it's helping you outscore those extra VPs. Research Station, just because it's a nice, big, clumpy brawl. And Montesi Formula, I found that sometimes people, if you have... It's another chance where, well, so here's... Originally, I thought it was like, oh, it'd be a great, Cat and the Spider opportunity. But if you're doing that, that means you're going first. And so if you're going first, that means that you chose the extract or the secure. And if you're playing more New Mutants, most likely you chose the secure.
Mm-hmm.
So unless your opponent has it, probably not going to work out as well as I thought it would. But if there's a lot of web warriors in your areas and you need more mystic attacks and beams and things like that,
I think something else you touch on too is that
handy.
you are kind of a brawly list, and so there could be an idea that it's a lower scoring extract, so you're not scoring as fast with it since there's only 3 points on there. So you have time to actually maybe win an attrition game there. So I think it has play.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely going. I mean, as usual, I am doing more mission. I mean, I'm also brawl. I'm taking a lot of the things you said, but I do think we're slightly coming at this in a different angle. With the extracts at least. I personally, so in my couple first practice games with them, I went out, grabbed all the extracts really quickly because you can teleport people up to then grab them. So like you bring someone to the middle that you don't mind dying, right? Like Bill. This is the concept. Whether it works every game or not, it depends on who you're playing against or what affiliation they're bringing. But say you bring Bill to the middle, grab one. Someone comes up and hits him with something. You bring Sunspot with a medium base because they can be within range 3 and still kind of be in the middle to come up and then grab like your opponent's extract and then run away. So there's some kind of you can go really fast with them, I think, as well because of the teleport. But you have to make sure you have with Black Dwarf. It's kind of even easier. You can bring him up and then. So I think they have play into a lot of extracts, which I like. But you do want to, as you mentioned, I think those secures are even more important in the list. And I think we're both kind of thinking the same game plan there.
Yeah.
Just remember your leadership cost of power.
I know.
Actually, you can't.
Oh, right. So you can't do it. Turn 2, then.
And you could do it, and then if you have it like paranoia or something, and you can then hit somebody and then pick up the power you gain. But
yeah. Or if they daze that character in the middle, then you can use the here we go. You can use that card to give everyone else.
Yeah.
It's Spirit Wakanda all over again, except someone has to die turn 1 to make it happen.
The sacrificial lamb.
So much better.
Yeah. Well, then no one, once people caught on, they just wouldn't kill that character. So
no.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we've kind of moved through a lot of stuff so far. Went over missions. Missions are cool right now. I mean, they're changing soon though, so who knows? Maybe there'll be a couple good ones where they play even better on. But so we kind of talked about the learning curve already. I'm just reading through our notes here. Impact on meta. I don't think they're going to have an impact for a while, personally, but I don't know, Brian.
If I could bring something back up to as far as the learning curve, these guys are definitely going to be an advanced thing. I think the one thing that is going to, because we've been talking about this in kind of more of a positive outlook and things that we're kind of excited to try and things that we could do. I can see a fair number of people kind of turning their nose to New Mutants.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things that wargamers hate is abilities that trigger based on your opponent's actions. Mm-hmm. So I think as time goes on, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to be like, oh, I'm playing against New Mutants. They are going to be trained to just, every time that I attack a New Mutant, where is the leadership going to be coming from, and how do I want to deal with that? It's also going to, because of that, it could also be very taxing on your opponent as well. But you could run into situations where people just won't attack you and just kind of like walk up, throw you, and walk again. And they're just like, okay, well, there's your leadership. And so like Web Warriors, I see being a very problematic matchup. Just anything that doesn't necessarily have to go in and fight, I think could be a bit rough. But we'll have to see. They're 3 days old officially. So
yeah, and aren't Web Warriors most of their triggers, except for on a couple characters, are wild trigger pushes on their attacks.
Well, but I mean, some stuff like a lot of their superpowers, like Ghost Spider and Spectacular Spider-Man, and
But then you can bring Emma in that matchup.
Yeah, I mean that's entirely possible if you want to do that and hope that she's within her range and has the power to do so, because she herself is not teleporting. That's certainly. I mean, you do have some tools, but unfortunately, you only have 10 spots. You can't just bring whoever. So
well, Emma's affiliated, so that is not a bad tech piece. That's also going to count for one of your guys. So
here's a question, Steve, that I thought: do you think that if you were forced to play on a D, so low threat value, very spread out, would you ever? I mean, I know the answer, but I almost kind of want a thought experiment here. Would you ever consider not bringing the leadership and taking another tactics card that could be more
that's an interesting idea.
Impactful?
I definitely think that's something to think about, right? You should 100% think that, like, hey, if I only use this leadership once on a D, do I bring in, I don't know, Brace or something else? Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and maybe at that point you go super wide too. So like you switch out a tactics card and you just take all your threes, and you just run the secures a different way without teleporting.
But yeah, no, I think it's definitely a consideration that New Mutants players, as of right now, might want to have to think about, rather than just, well, I have to have a leadership.
Yeah,
right. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because as a Defenders player, I'm in the same spot where if I'm playing on a D map, and if it's really spread out and everything else, and we're not playing the way that we want in a brawl in the middle, like, do I really need to bring Daredevil, or can I just bring somebody else?
Yeah,
and still have all the great tactics cards and everything else that they have, and just don't have to deal with a guy who just does 5 dice punches.
Yeah,
and occasionally does one ineffective spender that will push somebody off a point. Like, that's kind of like what it's. Unfortunately, that's what Daredevil will do the entire game. So.
But that's a really excellent point too, is like identifying when you don't need magic specifically too. I think Ds are absolutely kind of a situation where you start thinking about that. I know yesterday, in my practice, well, that was a tournament, but they were practice games either way. But I think in those games too, I was on a D and I thought, oh, I have to bring magic because I need my leadership. And I think that's a trap, as you're kind of rightly identifying here. She is flimsy, and on a D, you have better threes in your 10 probably to just kind of run around, hold a point, do damage 1-on-1, rather than kind of teaming up. So I like that.
Yeah, Cable and Shadowcat can protect her for only so long.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, then that's 3 characters you're using in one part of the board too.
Well, I mean, even if you just partner her up with, I mean, you'd probably want to put her with Shadowcat, because then again, she could benefit from the dodges.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And 2 defense dice only go so far, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you're still rolling, right? Yeah. I think yesterday I did that a couple times, Steven, and I still rolled all blanks, So. Yeah, it's an excellent point. So
I got a next idea. I'm gonna say this in a way, because we've already gone for an hour and 10 minutes, just to say, instead of going through the whole pre-podcast thing about beams and the leadership, just be like, if you teleport out with your leadership from a beam, the beam still hits you. Instead of us talking for 45 minutes about it, how we did beforehand.
Yes, there is a situation where beams get confusing.
Yes.
They still hit you.
You still take that beam to the face, or that area attack to the face.
Yeah.
Range was established before you hopped.
Yes.
Yeah. And so kind of our last, so impact on the current meta, I don't know, we can briefly run over that one too. I don't know, it's going to be different. We'll see how they play out. As Brian has mentioned multiple times too, like, they're going to be annoying to play against. players are not necessarily going to enjoy it, and it's going to take a high skill level, and that means people are going to need lots of reps before they can have any kind of impact on the meta.
I think as well, if we keep moving towards not having big kaiju threats in the meta, and it's a lot of like wider threat stuff, I think the leadership is much better because then you can take that first hit. But if like the Mortal Hulk comes back in and is just dunking people with one attack, then leadership, if it just days anyways, you're like,
I mean, they do have some adaptability. Like you're going to need a stagger bot in that scenario, but you have magic, and then with a stagger bot, you're staggering and teleporting away with Journey Through Limbo. But
I just don't
another reason why I like Black Cat in the list.
Yep.
We have no stagger bot. So.
That's too many things, Brian. I only have 10 people.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
I'm going to show up.
I'm not sorry. It's content, damn it.
Yeah? Show up with 15 characters in my 10.
Brian told me I could do it.
Yeah. The TO said it was cool. It's New Mutants.
We're playing Battle Realms, damn it. Just so you can't ban any of mine.
So our kind of last bullet on New Mutants is just current tier list thoughts. So we've kind of already done that in this episode. We've talked about characters you'd probably take. I guess one thing I will ask too, are there any, like obviously you're not going to take all 7. For me, Brian, I'll lead this question by saying I don't like Warlock that much with them, so I'm not going to use him, but I do see where he fits. But are there any kind of characters? We talked about splashes as well, so within the core 7, like who are you leaning towards primarily?
So the roster that I have right now is basically everyone but Cable and Emma. So it's just kind of the 5 kids, I guess you could say. I did bring Warlock in there just because I haven't played him. He seems weird, which he definitely is. But like some of the stuff with, he has no really like reaction superpowers that kind of he can benefit off of after jumps. I guess maybe you can get yourself in range to somebody who's only on 2, so you could do the virus infection thing potentially and then move out of the way. I'm not sure. But one of the other things that he could do, honestly, if he just runs around destroying terrain.
Yeah. That's exactly why I said I kind of want to bring him a shield, is he just gets rid of terrain.
Yeah, like he sits there on a point. He walks forward, he eats some terrain, and then he walks back.
Yep.
If like you're just removing the bullets, out of like Magneto or Hulk's, throw clip, then they're just gonna be sad.
Yeah. My biggest thing with that is like, and Stevens is too, do you take a character at 4 or 10 just for that kind of one, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I again, like I said, I haven't played him. I don't know. He could be secretly amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, he does have a range for shock on a stick.
Yeah.
And we're talking about an affiliation that's very squishy.
Yep.
So that also could be part of it as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. I missed that a little bit here. And it's the auto power, so when he's doing that, he can at least teleport where you need him to be to.
He can walk forward, give shock to somebody, and then eat some terrain.
Yeah.
He may need to heal. Who knows?
He's only got 5 health on his healthy side.
Exactly.
I have Emma. I actually really like Emma in New Mutants personally.
You also just like Emma in general.
Well, yeah, but the transforming with, that little one jank and then teleporting, I like that stuff. But, so she'll stay in. Cable may or may not for me, depending on some reps. I think higher threat, he's a good piece to have, but, cool. So any kind of closing thoughts, Brian?
Keep trying them. Don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
Because I was looking into Longshanks, the big 3 kind of affiliations in the last like 60 days are still Web Warriors, Wakanda, Hellfire Club.
Oh, did you not see those? Look up Asgard in the past month. Their win rate is wildly high.
Well,
because everyone's playing them, but it's really funny if you look at them in the past month.
Yeah, Loki is kind of silly. But yeah, and even Asgard with Loki, you got a lot of displacement, and you don't necessarily need to kill a lot.
Yep.
So I think New Mutants can potentially struggle. I hope that there's kind of like an affiliation box kind of on the horizon that's slowly making its way. Like Cry for Help is a very apropos named leadership right now. So, like I said, I could think it's a struggle, but I do think it's one of those things where it's an affiliation that if you're good with it, you could just absolutely wreck quote unquote good players who just don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I feel like being good with them is then playing the missions well. And so it's just going to benefit you on two fronts.
And like character placement is huge with them. So knowing your range, as Matt talked about in our last episode, knowing the ranges, knowing kind of where your characters are at all times. And that's just upping your game in general as well. So,
yeah.
But, yeah. I do think they are a faction too, where there's definitely more stuff coming. Who knows when it'll be out? But I do think that the more reps and better you get with them, the more rewarding as a faction they'll be, and the more confusing your opponent will get.
Yeah. I think it's definitely something where it can just like the win shenanigan potential that you can pull out is just, it feels so good. But
I think both Brian and I are very excited about this faction. So,
Nick, are you excited, or are you just like, I don't want to deal with this?
No, I think they're really cool.
Okay. Because they do seem like a faction, you'd be like, I don't want to deal with this.
Maybe, because I do hate you and I in the sky sometimes. But no, I thought they looked really fun, and I'm not like the biggest New Humans comic fan. Like I like Magic and I like Cable and I like Emma, but outside of that, I don't really care. But I thought I thought the leadership seemed really fun, but I won't play them because a couple of the other guys at the shop have picked them up, and you know how I am about mirror matches, so I won't even touch
that
mirror
can break brains, man.
Plus, I'm still trying to figure out defenders right now. Like, I love them, but I can't seem to just get a normal 50-50 win rate with them. I'm just getting stomped.
I think Brian's idea of maybe pivoting off Daredevil is a really good idea.
No, actually, I really thought about that because there was definitely times, even the other day, where I was like, Daredevil is doing literally zilch. So,
I mean, not to go on a brief tangent, because it could be a whole other episode. My current Defenders roster, Nick, is actually a Defenders Wakanda list.
Okay, so I should look into that because I've been wanting to play Wakanda, but I refuse to buy that Wakanda Wins box.
Oh, you don't have to. It doesn't incorporate any of those models.
Cool. I'll experiment with that a little bit then.
I will send it over to you.
Awesome.
So so Defenders and New Mutants, all of our loves in one place. So I guess in kind of closing remarks, follow us. Follow us at Alive on One. Oh, that's it. Just follow us at Alive on One on our Instagram. Yep. Our Discord link will be below in the episode description. You can join that. We have details about the TTS tournament pinned somewhere in there. You can ping me if you can't find it and you want to join. Please leave a review on Apple and Spotify or wherever you prefer to listen. That'd be great in helping us grow. Stay tuned for that bat rep with Jin. Jin's a player out of Connecticut on Pork Roll Protocol, so that should be a really good game. We're going to do X-Men versus New Mutants, so we're going to do some Danger Room themed bat rep. And you can email us with any questions, concerns, comments. Maybe keep your concerns limited to the realm of miniature war gaming. None of us are trained psychotherapists or anything, so I can't really help there. Although Steven is a vet, so I don't know.
Don't ask me random vet questions on email, please.
Now that's going to happen.
I will tell you to go see your vet.
Or, okay. Yep. And thank you for joining us, Brian, tonight. We really, really appreciate it and all you do for our community.
Absolutely. Especially what you do for our community. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, who cares about him coming in? No.
So for these coldest of takes that you can yell at me about, you can come to Everwinter and you can tell me how I'm wrong, and I'm done.
Yeah.
I encourage you to do so.
Yes, and thank you so much for everyone listening to continue to listen. Our channel is growing at a pace that I can't personally keep up with. So here we are. And thanks for listening about New Mutants, and stay tuned to see me do weird things with them and Brian. So as always, Godspeed, Spider-Man. Thank you.